From Bowden exposing false accusations of sexual assault against him, to fans being devastated after Otis's tragic death, here are Chicago Fire's most controversial episodes revealed. Let's start with the insanity that goes down in the 9th episode of Season 4 titled Short and Fat. So Kelly pays a visit to Maddox's lawyer, who also happens to be his previous fling. He's on a mission to convince her that Bowden is getting unfairly targeted. The problem is she can't spill the beans about Maddox. Bummer. Kelly leaves feeling a bit let down. Meanwhile, Dawson heads over to Bowden's place to have a heart-to-heart about all the craziness that's been happening. She spills the beans that intelligence has decided to investigate the case as a favor to our beloved Firehouse 51. Talk about teamwork. Now this is where things really heat up. Intelligence manages to track down the woman who accused Bowden, and they bring her in for interrogation. And guess who's there? Bowden himself. It turned out to be a pretty clever move, because as she spilled the beans that Maddox paid her to frame Bowden. And get this, he was even planning to whisk her away to another country. Talk about a shady deal. Armed with this juicy evidence, Steve Cott confronts Maddox head-on. He throws it all at him, the evidence from the interrogation, and the fact that they also talked to those guys who were harassing Dawson. Those dudes also confirmed that Maddox had bribed them. While this was a crazy plot twist in the show that left viewers in awe, some fans threw some shade at Chicago Fire for focusing on false sexual assault allegations. Fans on social media weren't exactly thrilled with the show's take on this. They pointed out that the show has many storylines revolving around innocent men, but they never tackle the actual problem of sexual harassment within the fire department. According to The Viewer, both Severide and Chief Bowden have faced accusations from women with sneaky motives, and they think that the show might be pushing the narrative that women lie about being assaulted. Now, don't get me wrong, false accusations do happen, but what worries fans is that this could seriously undermine the experiences of real victims. Short and Fat definitely got fans all emotional, and it turns out Chicago Fire is pretty good at playing with the viewers' feelings, because the 4th episode of Season 4, Your Day Is Coming, is a total emotional roller coaster. First things first, we have our beloved character Gabby hanging on by a thread. The poor thing is almost dying, and we're all on the edge of our seats, biting our nails, praying she pulls through. Thank goodness for the heroic efforts of our resident medical expert, Will Halstead from Chicago Med, who swoops in like a superhero in scrubs, determined to save the day. But here's the twist that really punches you in the gut. Gabby and Casey's dreams of welcoming a little bundle of joy are shattered. Yep, you heard it right. Their unborn baby, the symbol of hope and happiness, is tragically lost. Cue the waterworks. This episode doesn't hold back when it comes to tugging at your heartstrings. The writers of this show deserve a standing ovation for their ability to capture the raw agony of losing a child. Even the performances are so painfully real, and if that's not enough to leave you emotionally wrecked, get ready for the twist of denial. Gabby, bless her heart, can't quite come to terms with the heartbreaking news. It's a tough pill to swallow, and watching her struggle with acceptance adds another layer of heartache to the already heart-wrenching episode. So grab a box of tissues and prepare to be left in a puddle of tears, because this isn't the only major loss Gabby and Casey face through the seasons. You see, in the 10th episode of Season 5, The People We Meet, we see the couple find hope as they earn foster rights for little Louie. It's a glimmer of happiness after facing so much grief, but life has a cruel way of testing resilience, and fate gave Casey and Gabby another cruel blow. They were forced to say goodbye to Louie, the little boy they had grown to love and adore. It's a punch in the gut that hits you right where it hurts. Just when they thought they had found solace, the universe ripped it away from them. Witnessing Casey and Gabby navigate the heart-wrenching loss of yet another child is nothing short of devastating. But it's Gabby who takes the hardest hit. This episode leaves you feeling a mix of anger, sadness, and empathy. It's a testament to the strength of the characters and the incredible performances that bring their pain to life. Pretty heartbreaking, right? Well, get ready to have your heart shattered all over again, because I'm about to fill you in on the total tearjerker that is Season 3, Episode 1, Always. The episode that picks up right where the Season 2 finale leaves us hanging. Picture this: a building in chaos, people trapped inside, and the fearless Chief Bowden frantically trying to reach his team on the radio. The suspense is insane. We're left in the dark, just like Bowden, anxiously awaiting any sign of hope. But hold on tight, because things take a dramatic turn. Our beloved Shay faces the brunt of the explosion, and the outcome is devastating. It's a heart-wrenching sight as Severide jumps into action, performing CPR with all his might. Meanwhile, Casey, Mouch, Airman, and Cruz join forces, risking their own safety to rescue Shay and Gabby from harm's way. It's a race against time that has you grabbing for the tissues within the first first 5 minutes of the episode. We also see Gabby's guilt trip and her awful flashbacks. And let me tell you, this episode doesn't hold back in making you feel every ounce of heartache. So let's take a moment to bid farewell to our beloved Leslie Shea. And if you think that was too painful to bear, you might want to take a look at what goes down in Season 4, Episode 10, The Beating Heart. But first I gotta tell you about Christopher Herrmann, the ultimate rock star of the Chicago Fire family. This guy has been there for everyone, playing the roles of a wise counselor, a loving father figure, and a reliable shoulder to cry on. But things take a dramatic turn when Freddie stabs the guy right in the middle of Season 4. Talk about a heart-stopping moment. Losing Airman, unthinkable. The poor guy gets rushed to med, and boy does he face a roller coaster of complications. I'm talking hypovolemic shock, guys. It's a real nail-biter as they desperately try to control the bleeding and rush him into surgery. The entire Firehouse family is on the edge of their seats, fearing the worst. And just when you think your heart can't take anymore, you get to see the most heart-wrenching scene between Herrmann and Cruz. Believe me, this episode is bound to leave you shattered. But you know what? You'll still be gripped with anticipation, shedding tears, and maybe even shouting at the screen. Now that sounds a lot like what the first episode of Season 8, Sacred Grounds, made us feel. This episode delivered one of the most heart-wrenching deaths in the entire One Chicago franchise. They didn't hold back, my friends. So here's what went down. After the intense events of the Season 7 finale, things pick up with Cruz stumbling upon a badly injured Otis amidst the rubble. The poor guy then wakes up at med, and before he takes his final breath, he says something to Joe in Russian. And just like that, our hearts shatter into a million pieces as Otis passes away. The episode ends with Bowden unveiling a memorial dedicated to Otis. Here's when he translates Otis's last words to Cruz: "Brother, I will be with you always." Now that's game over for our tear ducts. Can you picture it? Cruz is completely broken in front of the memorial, and the whole team joins him in a powerful moment of grief. The episode hits you right in the feels and leaves you questioning why the writers would ever do this to you. And guess what? Fans of the show couldn't bear the loss of Otis and ran to social media asking exactly this. They were left devastated after watching Sacred Grounds. I mean, Otis was the go-to guy for comic relief in the show, and to find out he didn't make it was a real blow. One fan, who wasn't even particularly obsessed with Otis, poured their heart out, saying, I cried so hard my shirt collar was soaked in tears. And let's not even talk about Cruz's reaction. It completely destroyed fans. Another fan chimed in saying, I never cry this much at TV deaths. But amidst the heartbreak, there were fans who expressed their everlasting love for Otis. Then there were those who wished that Otis had had a brighter future and that he deserved to have found love and could have started a family. One fan wrote, I just wish life worked out for him. Instead, he died. Man, TV deaths can really hit us hard, can't they? So, from fans going crazy on social media after hearing Otis's last words, to Chief Bowden facing totally fake sexual assault charges, these were Chicago Fire's most controversial episodes revealed.